Hello everyone, and welcome back to our deep dive update on The Young and the Restless. Today's storyline is packed with emotional turns, family conflicts, and the kind of layered drama that only Genoa City and Los Angeles can deliver. At the heart of it all is Victoria, a mother who has never been the type to sit back and wait for answers. The moment she sensed that her daughter Claire's plans for Los Angeles were moving faster than expected, her instincts sharpened. And when whispers turned into certainty, Claire was pregnant, Victoria's entire world shifted. This revelation wasn't just a headline in the Newman family drama. It was personal. It rippled through her like a storm, activating every protective reflex she had built from years of corporate battles and personal scars. For Victoria, motherhood has never been passive. It's been an arena where every instinct comes wrapped in strategy. Los Angeles as a haven and a threat. Los Angeles became the setting where two completely different interpretations clashed. For Claire, the city promised anonymity, reinvention, and a fresh start with Holden, a man whose quiet steadiness looked like an escape from chaos. To Victoria, though, Los Angeles felt dangerous. It meant distance, less control, and the risk of losing her daughter to a future she couldn't fully watch over. And so, the decision was made. The Newman jet lifted from the Genoa City tarmac, carrying Victoria, Nick, and Sharon. Together, they formed a pragmatic trio, each with their own role to play. Victoria carried the bloodline and the deep maternal fear. Nick carried logic and common sense, ready to strategize. Sharon carried compassion and therapist-like intuition, knowing that secrets left unchecked either confess or combust. Claire and Holden's Los Angeles dream. For Claire, Los Angeles wasn't rebellion, it was clarity. She and Holden imagined a modest start, a small sublet, jobs that paid the bills, mornings at a local coffee shop where nobody knew the name Newman. Pregnancy, however, changed the urgency. Suddenly, it wasn't just about love. It was about timelines, insurance, stability, and building a safe circle for a new life. Holden proved himself not with grand promises, but with quiet preparation. He mapped out savings, booked medical appointments, and lined up part-time work. Unlike Genoa City's power players, Holden carried no corporate safety net. What he carried was resilience and a calm kind of responsibility. He didn't underestimate Victoria's scrutiny. Instead, he chose transparency. He urged Claire to meet her mother in a public cafe, letting daylight and clinking coffee cups dilute the tension. Meanwhile, Claire wrestled with old shadows. Kyle's lingering feelings for her threatened to blur new boundaries. To outsiders, her move might look like running away. But to Claire, this was her first true adult decision, one where she wasn't just a supporting character in the Newman saga, but the author of her own chapter. Kyle's reckoning. Back in Genoa City, Kyle's emotions boiled. Claire's sudden relocation didn't just bruise his pride. It shattered his belief that history still gave him leverage. He thought conversations could fix silence, that timing could eventually align. But Claire had not only closed the door, she had boarded it up and moved it to another zip code. Kyle cycled through emotions. Anger, reflection, strategy. Should he fly to LA and force a confrontation? The worst version of him wanted that. But deep down, he knew intrusion would only push Claire further away. If he wanted to stay in her life, he needed to recalibrate from intrusion to integrity. Respecting her boundaries without disappearing was the only way forward. Audra and Nate's parallel drama. While the Newman jet soared west, Audra was waging a very different battle in Genoa City. She had poured ambition and emotion into Nate Hastings, convinced they could become a power couple blending love and influence. But when she demanded clarity, Nate answered with silence. Not hostility, not passion, but a long pause. To Audra, silence was betrayal. She had risen in life by acting first, never waiting. Now, the man she wanted forced her into a waiting room. Her frustration hardened into resolve. She began spreading her risks, pivoting toward other ventures, other alliances. Her ultimatum became not just about love, but about proving to the world that she had better places to channel her drive. The irony? Audra's best move was also the hardest for her, resisting the impulse to punish. If she could show herself as a steady center of gravity, Nate might come toward her willingly. But if she lashed out, she risked winning appearances while losing credibility. The Los Angeles cafe confrontation. And then came the scene that tied every thread together. A cafe in Los Angeles, sunlight spilling across the tables, the hum of traffic beneath the tension. Victoria arrived not as a CEO, but as a mother determined to look her daughter in the eye. Claire arrived not as a runaway, but as a pregnant woman ready to stake her claim on adulthood. Holden, steady as ever, was there not to posture, but to stand firm in transparency. At the table, 3 themes dominated. 1. Kyle, was he a comfort from the past, or a confusion Claire needed to release? 2. Holden, could he prove stability, not in words, but in daily responsibilities? 3. Romance versus partnership. Would this relationship stand beyond the honeymoon glow, into the 3M moments when the baby cried and the world felt heavy? Nick grounded the conversation with logistics, prenatal care, housing, backup plans. Sharon translated emotions, guiding Victoria away from interrogation and Claire away from defensiveness. Victoria's skepticism was sharp, but Holden's calm transparency softened the edges. Possible futures. 2 paths emerged from that cafe. Scenario 1. Compromise. Victoria still cautious, but willing to let Holden prove himself through actions. Claire open about updates, building trust. Holden consistent, honest, punctual, supportive. This led to a fragile but lasting peace. Scenario 2. Breakdown. Victoria distrustful, Claire defensive, Holden closed off, Kyle impulsive, Audra retaliatory. In this path, Los Angeles wouldn't be a fresh start, but the stage for new battles of love versus control. The emotional truth, however, remained clear. Victoria's suspicion came from love and scars. Claire's determination came from her need for peace. Holden's strength lay in quiet reliability. Kyle's weakness was his inability to let go. And Audra's flaw was her pride demanding applause. Thematic core and emotional logic. What makes this arc compelling isn't just the air miles between Genoa City and Los Angeles. It's the symmetry of themes. Claire and Holden test whether love can draft a blueprint faster than fear can draw red lines. Victoria tests whether protection can evolve into partnership without feeling like surrender. Kyle tests whether remorse can grow into respect. Audra tests whether ambition can coexist with patience. Nate tests whether caution is wisdom or camouflage. At the heart of it all is a child, still just a flicker on an ultrasound, who resets the stakes for everyone. Conclusion and final reflections. The cafe meeting doesn't end with perfect resolution, but it does sharpen the shape of future conflicts. If Holden stays transparent, if Claire shows responsibility, if Victoria balances instinct with evidence, then Los Angeles can become a shared experiment rather than a battlefield. But if egos flare, if boundaries collapse, if old patterns repeat, then the corridor between Genoa City and Los Angeles will only carry more drama. This is what The Young and the Restless does best. It places characters in the same room, gives them conflicting goals, and lets tension crackle. Here, the stakes aren't just about romance. They're about independence, family, protection, and the price of trust. As viewers, what we're watching isn't just a mother-daughter conflict. It's a generational argument about freedom, responsibility, and what it truly means to love someone enough to let them grow. The spark may be romance, but the fire is the future. And so, the question lingers. When Claire touches her stomach in that Los Angeles cafe, will the Newman family see her as running away from them or running toward her own destiny?